Have you ever stopped halfway through your dinner, looked down at your plate, and thought, this can't possibly hurt me, right? It's just vegetables. It's natural. It's healthy. That's what we've always been told. But what if I told you that one of those innocent-looking vegetables sitting right there on your plate could secretly be raising your risk of a stroke overnight? Sounds shocking, doesn't it? Something so ordinary, so trusted, turning against you when you least expect it. And here's what's even more surprising. It's not some exotic or rare plant from a faraway country. It's a vegetable you probably eat every week, maybe even every single day. Doctors around the world are starting to take notice, not because this vegetable is bad, but because when eaten in the wrong way or in the wrong amount, especially as we get older, it can trigger changes in your body that no one talks about. And for seniors, people like you who've worked so hard to live healthy, to stay strong, to do all the right things, this tiny mistake could mean the difference between another peaceful morning and a terrifying trip to the emergency room. Think about it for a second. You go to bed feeling fine. You've eaten your greens, watched your salt, maybe even skipped dessert because you're trying to be good. Then you wake up the next morning, dizzy, numb, unable to lift your arm, or worse, unable to speak. That's how sudden a stroke can be. And sometimes, the trigger hides in the very foods we trust the most. Now, don't worry, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to open your eyes. Because understanding what's really happening inside your body can help you protect yourself and your loved ones before it's too late. In this video, we're going to uncover the surprising truth behind that one everyday vegetable that has stunned doctors. You'll learn why it poses a hidden danger to older adults, how it affects your blood vessels overnight, and what you can do instead to stay safe, without giving up the foods you love. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll have the clarity you need to make smarter, safer choices starting today. You'll be amazed at how a few small changes can protect your heart, your brain, and your independence. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Do you think natural foods can actually be dangerous? Or do you believe all this talk about healthy foods turning harmful is just another health scare? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your experience might just help someone else watching this right now. And if you care about staying strong, informed, and in control of your health as you age, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing family here at Elderly Wisdom Guide. Together, we'll uncover the truths that keep you living not just longer, but better. Now, let's talk about the vegetable that doctors never expected to be a silent threat. It's a quiet morning. The sun is just peeking through the curtains, and Harold, 72 years old, retired, and proud of the little garden he's built over the years, steps out with a smile. The smell of fresh soil, the gentle breeze, the feeling of purpose, this is what he lives for. Every morning, he picks his vegetables with care. A handful of leafy greens here, a few stalks there. He's always believed that what grows in his own soil must be the best for his body. For breakfast, Harold prepares the same thing he's been having for months, a big plate of fresh vegetables from his garden. No sugar, no processed foods, no junk. Just what nature provides. He feels good, even proud. After all, he's eating healthy, right? But then, slowly, things begin to change. It starts with something small, a bit of dizziness one morning, a sudden tingling in his fingers, a strange weakness in his arm. He laughs it off, thinking, maybe I stood up too fast. But the next day, it happens again. And again. Until one morning, as he reaches for his cup of tea, his hand refuses to obey him. Now, Harold isn't the only one. Many older adults experience the same thing, subtle signs the body gives before something serious happens. But because they don't look dangerous, we brush them off. Here's what's really happening. Many of the vegetables we consider superfoods are indeed filled with nutrients, but they also contain compounds that can quietly affect your body's delicate balance. Some are high in oxalates, which can cause calcium buildup in blood vessels. Others are rich in nitrates, which can react with certain blood pressure or heart medications. And when your body, especially an aging body, struggles to process those compounds efficiently, the blood vessels start to tighten instead of relax. Circulation slows down. Pressure rises. Blood flow to the brain can fluctuate, and that's when stroke risk silently climbs. You see, we've been taught for so long that vegetables are always good that we rarely question how much is too much, or whether the way we eat them actually matters. Harold thought eating the same greens every day was the safest choice. No sugar, no salt, no processed foods. What could possibly go wrong? But the truth is, even healthy foods can become harmful when they're eaten in the wrong way, or too often, without balance. Think of it like this: your body is like a finely tuned engine. It needs variety, different nutrients, minerals, and fibers, to run smoothly. Feeding it the same thing over and over might seem safe, but over time, it can clog certain pathways, throw off electrolytes, or strain organs that are already working a little harder than they used to. So, if you've ever found yourself eating the same vegetable every day because it feels healthy, you're not alone. It's one of the most common habits among health-conscious seniors. But moderation and rotation are the real secrets to a longer, healthier life. Instead of relying on one vegetable as your daily go-to, try mixing it up. Have spinach today, maybe kale or cabbage tomorrow. Add a bit of color, red peppers, carrots, zucchini. Every vegetable brings something different to the table, and your body thrives on that variety. And before you make any big dietary change, even if it seems harmless, talk to your doctor. Because as we age, the way our bodies process nutrients shifts. What worked for you at 40 might not work the same at 70. Remember, balance doesn't mean giving up what you love. It simply means giving your body a fair chance to stay balanced and strong. But Harold's story doesn't end there. The dizziness, the weakness in his hand, they weren't random. They were warnings. His body was trying to tell him something much deeper. And when his doctor finally ran the tests, what they discovered about the vegetable he'd been eating every single day left everyone, including Harold, completely stunned. So, what was Harold eating every single day? Spinach. Yes, spinach, the same green that's been praised for generations. The one we've all been told makes you stronger, protects your heart, and keeps your body young. For decades, spinach has worn the crown of the healthiest food on earth. It's the vegetable that parents urge their children to eat, the one health magazines celebrate, the one you see in almost every healthy senior diet list. But here's the twist, the truth that left Harold's doctor stunned. Spinach, while undeniably rich in vitamins and minerals, also contains something called oxalates and nitrates. In small amounts, they're harmless. But when eaten too often, especially by older adults whose kidneys aren't as efficient as they once were, those oxalates can begin to quietly build up inside the body. Imagine it like fine dust settling inside your pipes. At first, it's nothing, a little residue here and there. But over time, that dust hardens, turns to sediment, and starts narrowing the flow. In your body, that sediment is calcium, building up inside your blood vessels, making them stiffer, less flexible. And when your blood vessels lose their flexibility, your heart has to work harder to pump blood. Pressure rises. Clots form more easily. And for seniors, that can turn into the perfect storm, a stroke waiting to happen. Now, this doesn't mean spinach suddenly became bad. It's still packed with nutrients that support your bones, your eyes, and your energy. But here's what most people don't realize, even the healthiest foods can turn harmful when balance is lost. And Harold? He didn't know that eating a large bowl of raw spinach every morning, every day, could push his body over the edge. He thought he was doing everything right, no red meat, no salt, no sugar, just nature's green medicine. But nature, too, needs moderation. You see, when spinach is eaten raw and in excess, those oxalates don't break down easily. The body struggles to filter them out, especially if water intake is low or if medications are already putting stress on the kidneys. Over time, it's like a slow tightening of your blood vessels, silent, invisible, but dangerously real. And here's the part that most seniors never hear: the same oxalates that stiffen blood vessels can also interfere with calcium absorption. That means, while you think you're feeding your bones and heart, your body might be storing that calcium where it shouldn't, in your arteries instead of your bones. That's why some people, like Harold, experience those small, strange warning signs: dizziness, numbness, a heavy head, before anything serious happens. The body whispers before it screams. Doctors aren't saying spinach is the enemy. Far from it. But it's the amount and how we prepare it that makes all the difference. If you've been eating spinach daily, especially raw in salads, smoothies, or juices, your body might be quietly waving a red flag. The simple fix? Balance. Instead of making spinach your everyday vegetable, rotate it with other greens. Try kale one day, lettuce another, or even Swiss chard. Each of these gives your body what it needs without overwhelming it with oxalates. And when you do enjoy spinach, give it a light steam or a quick sauté. Just that little bit of heat helps reduce the oxalate content and makes it easier for your body to process safely. It's small changes like this that protect your heart and keep your circulation strong. Because when it comes to health, it's not about removing good foods, it's about using wisdom and balance. But here's the thing: spinach isn't the only one. There's another vegetable, one even more surprising, that's been sneaking its way into senior diets under the label of heart healthy. And what it does to your blood pressure might shock you even more than Harold's story. When people first hear that spinach might pose hidden risks, their natural reaction is to switch to something else, something they've been told is even better. And that's exactly what Harold did. After his doctor explained the issue with too much spinach, Harold thought, alright, I'll just change my greens. So, he started juicing beetroots and celery every morning. He'd seen it all over the internet, articles, videos, and even health shows saying that beets and celery were miracle foods for blood pressure and circulation. He'd pour himself a big glass of deep red beet juice, add a few stalks of celery, and proudly tell his friends, "I'm drinking my medicine instead of taking it." And at first, it seemed to work. His energy felt better, his blood pressure readings evened out, and he thought he'd found the perfect solution. But a few weeks later, something strange began to happen again: waves of dizziness, lightheadedness, and a strange feeling of his heart skipping. Now, Harold wasn't the only one. Many seniors have followed this same path, trading one superfood for another, believing they've made the safer choice. But the truth is, even nature's gifts come with warnings. Here's what most people don't know. Beetroot and celery are both very high in natural nitrates. These nitrates are what help blood vessels relax and widen, allowing blood to flow more easily, which sounds good, right? That's why they're often praised for lowering blood pressure naturally. But here's where it gets complicated, especially for older adults who are already taking blood pressure medications, beta blockers, or diuretics. When you combine foods high in nitrates with these medications, your body can experience sudden and unpredictable drops in blood pressure. Instead of stabilizing your heart, it can send it swinging from high to low in a matter of minutes. And for an aging heart, one that's already adjusting to medication, those sudden dips can be dangerous. A drastic drop in blood pressure doesn't just make you dizzy or weak. It can reduce the blood flow to your brain, setting the stage for confusion, fainting, or even a stroke. You see, many people think, if something lowers blood pressure, it must be good. But your body doesn't need low pressure, it needs steady pressure. That's the key difference. Imagine a garden hose watering your plants. If the pressure suddenly drops, the water trickles unevenly, and the plants suffer. The same thing happens inside your brain and heart when blood flow isn't stable. That's why some seniors experience sudden weakness, blurred vision, or even mild blackouts after drinking beet or celery juice on an empty stomach, especially when combined with their usual morning pills. Now, to be clear, beets and celery aren't villains. They're incredibly nutritious when used wisely. Beets help with stamina, and celery supports hydration. The problem is not the vegetable itself, it's the combination, the portion, and the frequency. If you're taking medication for blood pressure or heart health, it's crucial to talk to your doctor before adding high-nitrate foods to your daily routine. They can help you figure out what's safe and how often you can enjoy them without throwing your system off balance. And moderation truly is the secret here. Instead of having beet or celery juice every single morning, try spacing it out, once or twice a week, and never right after taking medication. Always eat a little something solid first to slow the absorption and prevent that sudden pressure drop. Your body thrives on consistency, not extremes. It doesn't need massive doses of one thing, it needs a gentle rhythm of many things working together. Because real health isn't about finding one miracle food. It's about harmony, letting your meals support your medicines, not fight against them. And speaking of balance, there's one more habit that quietly sneaks into the lives of many seniors, a habit that sounds harmless, even wise, but it's actually making these risks much worse. Every evening, right as the sun dipped behind the quiet rooftops of her neighborhood, Eleanor followed the same ritual. At 80 years old, she found comfort in routine, especially after her husband passed. She'd set the table neatly, pour herself a glass of celery juice, and prepare her usual dinner, a light salad with raw greens, a few cherry tomatoes, and a drizzle of olive oil. She believed she was doing everything right. No fried foods, no red meat, no sugar. Just clean, natural eating. To her, it was discipline. To her doctor, it was dedication. But what neither realized at first, was that this same routine was quietly working against her. One morning, as Eleanor watered her garden, she felt her hand tremble. A strange wave of dizziness swept through her. She sat down, thinking maybe she'd stood too quickly. But the feeling didn't go away. Her vision blurred, her heartbeat felt uneven. And for a few terrifying seconds, she couldn't remember the name of her neighbor standing beside her. Her daughter rushed her to the hospital, fearing the worst, and while it wasn't a full-blown stroke, it was what doctors called a transient ischemic attack, or a mini-stroke, a serious warning that the brain wasn't getting enough blood flow. When the results came back, the doctor's words startled her. "Eleanor, your sodium and potassium levels are dangerously imbalanced." She blinked in disbelief. "But I don't even use salt," she said proudly. And that was exactly the problem. As we age, our kidneys, the body's natural filters, don't work as efficiently as they once did. They become slower at balancing fluids and minerals like sodium, potassium, and calcium. Now, when someone like Eleanor eats the same foods every day, especially raw greens and high-nitrate vegetables like celery, without enough hydration or variety, the body starts to struggle. The kidneys can't process the overload properly. Electrolytes become unbalanced. And when that happens, blood becomes thicker, more sluggish, increasing the risk of clots, high blood pressure spikes, and eventually, stroke. You see, what Eleanor thought was a safe and disciplined diet had quietly turned into a trap. She avoided salt completely, thinking it was the enemy, but our bodies need a little sodium to help the nerves, muscles, and heart maintain rhythm. She ate raw greens every night, thinking it was pure and natural, but the constant oxalates were making her blood harder to flow. And because she rarely drank enough water, her kidneys couldn't clear out those excess compounds. It's a pattern many seniors unknowingly fall into. We love what feels familiar. We eat what feels safe. And in a world full of confusing nutrition advice, just eat vegetables sounds simple. But even simplicity needs balance. Health isn't just about avoiding bad foods. It's about rotating the good ones. Your body needs variety. Colors, textures, nutrients, each playing a different role in keeping your heart and brain strong. So, what could Eleanor have done differently? She could have kept her greens, but varied them, spinach one day, broccoli another, cabbage next. She could have paired her salads with a small serving of lean protein, like eggs, chicken, or beans, to stabilize minerals. And most importantly, she could have added hydration. A single extra glass of water between meals could have helped her kidneys flush toxins more efficiently. Because dehydration doesn't always mean thirst. For older adults, even mild dehydration can slow blood flow, strain the heart, and make every nutrient imbalance worse. In truth, it's not just what we eat, it's how often and how narrowly we eat it. Your body is like an orchestra. Every nutrient plays an instrument. When one section dominates the sound, the melody, your health starts to lose harmony. So, remember, the best diet isn't strict, it's balanced. It's not built on one perfect meal, but on gentle variety that supports your body's natural rhythm. But as dangerous as routine can be, there's one sign even more alarming. A sign that most seniors ignore until it's far too late. Because it doesn't come from what we eat, but from what our body tries to tell us afterward. And when this final sign appears, it's your body's last plea for attention before something serious happens. Before Harold's stroke scare, he remembered something odd. It started with a pulsing ache just behind his left eye, nothing too painful, just annoying enough to make him squint when reading his morning paper. Then came the fatigue, not the usual tiredness that comes from a long day, but a strange wave that hit right after eating. His head would feel heavy. His heart, a little too slow. Sometimes, his vision blurred for a few seconds, and he'd blink it away, telling himself, it's just age catching up. But it wasn't. Those tiny moments were his body whispering, soft warnings before the storm. You see, what many people don't realize is that stroke rarely comes without a whisper. The body tries to send signals days, sometimes weeks, before a major episode. But because those signs are mild and fleeting, most people shrug them off. Here's the truth. When you eat foods high in oxalates and nitrates, like spinach, celery, or beets, your body processes them into compounds that affect blood vessels. Now, under normal conditions, these nutrients can help regulate circulation. But in older adults, especially those on medication for blood pressure or the heart, the interaction can be dangerous. When those compounds mix with certain meds or when hydration is low, blood vessels can narrow temporarily. That constriction reduces blood flow, especially in the delicate vessels of the brain. And that's when the mini-stroke, or transient ischemic attack, TIA, can happen. It's like a flicker in the brain's wiring, a momentary short circuit. You might feel dizzy, lightheaded, or experience a brief numbness in your arm or face. Some people see flashes of light. Others feel a sudden heaviness in one side of the body. Then, just as quickly as it came, it passes. You feel normal again, maybe even embarrassed to mention it. You tell yourself, I'm fine. It was probably just nothing. But that moment, that whisper, is your body's most urgent warning. Because 1 in 3 people who experience a TIA will have a major stroke within the next year. And the tragedy is, most of those strokes could have been prevented if that first sign was taken seriously. We often think we'll know a stroke when it hits, that it'll be sudden, dramatic, unmistakable. But in truth, the body whispers before it screams. It gives you clues, little ones, hoping you'll listen. That slight headache that comes after eating? That momentary dizziness when you stand up? That sudden fatigue after a healthy meal? They might not just be aging. They might be a message. So, here's the truth every senior should remember. If you ever feel sudden dizziness, blurred vision, or numbness, especially right after eating, don't brush it off. Don't wait it out. Don't assume it'll go away. Get checked immediately. Even if it turns out to be nothing serious, that visit could save your independence, or your life. Because the earlier a doctor spots those blood flow changes, the easier it is to correct them, sometimes just by adjusting medication, diet, or hydration. And this isn't about living in fear. It's about living aware. Fear freezes us. Awareness empowers us. Awareness gives you the freedom to act before it's too late. It gives you control over your health, your choices, your future. And that's what this entire story, Harold's, Eleanor's, maybe even yours, is really about. Understanding that the power to prevent disaster often lies in the smallest decisions, in the moments when you choose to listen to your body instead of ignoring it. Because awareness is not about worry, it's about wisdom. And wisdom, especially in our later years, is the greatest protection we have. But as powerful as awareness is, it reaches its emotional peak when you realize why it matters, not just for you, but for those who love you, depend on you, and look up to you. Watching a loved one struggle with health issues caused by something as innocent as a vegetable can feel unfair, can't it? It's confusing, painful, even heartbreaking. You might sit by their bedside wondering, how did we not see this coming? Or maybe, what could we have done differently? Sometimes, it's not just about the stroke or the illness itself, it's about the guilt that follows. The quiet what-ifs that play in your mind late at night. What if I hadn't encouraged them to eat that every day? What if I'd noticed the signs sooner? But here's what I want you to understand, and please, let this sink in deeply, you can't blame yourself for what you didn't know. The truth is, most of us grew up believing that if it came from the earth, it was automatically safe. We were taught that vegetables heal, not harm. And in most cases, that's still true. But aging changes everything. What once helped the body may not act the same decades later. And that's not your fault. It's just life evolving, quietly, beneath the surface. Now, here's where everything changes. This knowledge you have now, it's not meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Because now, you understand how small changes, tiny, almost invisible shifts, can protect the people you love most. You know that paying attention to your body, your meals, your medications, it's not paranoia, it's wisdom. You've moved from being reactive to being prepared. From fear to awareness. From uncertainty to understanding. And that's powerful. So here's what I encourage you to do. Take just a few minutes today to look at what's on your plate, or what's on your loved ones. Think about the habits you've built, the foods you've been eating on repeat. Ask yourself, is this balance? Or is this routine? Because awareness is the first step toward prevention. And prevention is the most beautiful act of love you can give yourself, and those who care for you. Remember, the goal isn't to fear vegetables or avoid them altogether. It's to enjoy them wisely. To understand your body's changes and make choices that respect them. When you do that, when you find that balance, your golden years can truly live up to their name, golden. Peaceful mornings, steady energy, laughter around the table, all made possible by small, mindful decisions. Because health isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. And awareness brings freedom, the freedom to live fully, love deeply, and age gracefully. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned today. We talked about the hidden stroke risks behind eating certain vegetables in excess, like spinach, celery, and beets. We explored how repeating the same, healthy meals can silently harm when the body's balance shifts with age. And most importantly, we uncovered the early warning signs your body gives before a stroke, the quiet whispers you must never ignore. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed strange symptoms, maybe dizziness, numbness, or fatigue, after eating certain foods? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might just help someone else recognize a danger before it's too late. And if this video opened your eyes or gave you a new perspective, please give it a like. It helps spread awareness and reach more seniors who need this information. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we share vital, heart-centered insights to help seniors and families stay informed, strong, and protected. Because together, we're building a community that values not just long life, but quality life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Stay mindful of your health. Stay compassionate toward others. And as always, stay wise. I'll see you in the next video.